You can find everything from a crazy 55-year-old guy to a 13-year-old kid from Norway to the wildest motocross people in the US.
What are some of the highest dives that occur? I mean, like you said, it could be from 30 feet or, but do they go even higher?
Yeah, so, and this is very important because this is the natural evolution of action sport. You always push limits, and we're all about diving from 33 to 43 feet, and we want it to be a safe competition environment, and we want everybody to compete. And we haven't had one serious injury since we started this back in 2008. So you can, of course, have bruises and stuff like that, but nothing kind of dangerous. But once you start jumping higher than 43 feet, accidents do happen. And then the world record today is 49 meters. That's going to be 147 feet. And when you land in a DØDS position, the impact is so heavy, you hit up to 2 Gs.
that's Have you ever done that?
Yeah, so I know how to do it, but I can do it from 30 feet, and I can do it like old school kind of classic air ballet style, but I can't do the slams they're doing today. But that's part of the sport also, and the natural evolution.
So what has really surprised you in running this and building this over time?
That's a great question. I think maybe the closest similarity is how you see this kind of youth sports movements happening with skateboarding and snowboarding and surfing is maybe the closest parallel I can see to this sport, because it is tapping into something that already existed, which was diving. It's just making it cooler. And it makes it relevant for a whole new generation. So suddenly you have, in Norway, you won't see anybody diving anymore. This is what they do. And the same in Sweden. And now you're seeing the same thing in France. And because of the flight that you're doing and the landing that you're doing, you're actually adding an axis on your rotation. So you have double the amount of tricks you can do in the air. So you can do it horizontally and you can do it vertically, meaning that the sky's the limit. And it's so addictive to watch. And one of the coolest things that the girls are battling it out in the same league, in the same class. So last year, a girl actually won the whole US national and crushed the guys.
That's incredible. That's incredible because you're not having to sort of get like vertical, I guess, right? And
exactly.
At the end, right? The end
so
of your
that
dive.
Opens up for kind of so many more tricks in the air and so much more entertaining to watch.
And so as a fan coming to one of the events, what is that experience like?
So I think the closest thing, last year we went to Monster Energies, our main sponsor. So we had the US Nationals in Fort Lauderdale, and then we were invited to PBR, the bull riding league. And that's us, just with bull riders. So we actually had such a great time, and the bull riders connected with the DØDS divers. And the day after, we had all the world champions teaching how to DØDS dive in Fort Lauderdale. So that was a blast. But in short, it's like a music festival meets sports entertainment. So it's super close. So you have the splash zone, so you do feel the water. We have pyro, so you do feel the flames. The athletes are amongst the audience, so it's this hype, energy kind of atmosphere. And then the media play is insane, so everybody's there with the screens and their phones, and everything of course is live on TV. So this year is a big transitional year for us, because in 26 ESPN will become our new media partner in the US.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So talk about sort of the journey to ESPN from a media perspective.
Yeah, so this year was the first year we broadcasted the whole league, but we did it on tape. So this is going out to all media channels today. So we're distributed in 60 countries plus. In 26, it's the first year we're moving over to a TV-ready live production. And until now, it has only been shown on NRK, which is the national TV channel in Norway. And we peaked at 135,000 views in July, which in Norway is big. We're a small country. But I think the most interesting thing was that over a third of the viewership was under 30. And that was a record for NRK Norway. And that was also the reason why ESPN are interested. Now we're in negotiation with DAZN now. We're talking with sports.com. So this is a product bringing Gen Z back to TV in one of the biggest and oldest sports in the world, aquatic sports.
You know, is this something that could be part of the Olympics at some point?
I would definitely say yes. I wouldn't have said yes if I didn't see breakdance this year or last year. But now everything is possible. And I think one important thing here is that the change is so big now. Of course, you have the big fives with basketball and hockey and football and all that stuff. But there's a new generation of sports fan coming to town, and they don't want to see the long formats. They want to relate to these people. There's so much identity coming into this play that I do think that this is definitely the future also of the Olympics. You have to think new. And I'm thinking we're coming from social media. We're actually transitioning to linear. So we have to take all that cool stuff we're doing on social media, and we have to bring it to the broadcast instead of doing the opposite.
Yeah, I wanted to touch on the business side, and especially on your expertise in social media. So how did you guys sort of get that muscle to be able to do that and build this incredible following that you have on social media?
Yeah, so I think, and that's a good question, because we average organically 17 million per event, and that's without us spending a dime on pushing the content. And I think the first formula is a strong community of athletes. People do want to, or they have to live the lifestyle, because they're shooting this every day. And if they're not doing it in a competition, they're finding a cliff and they're doing it. So that's one part of it. And the second part of it is the natural evolution of it being so entertaining. So you're a storyteller at the end. So we have the most incredible athletes on the planet. You can find everything from a crazy 55-year-old guy to a 13-year-old kid from Norway to the wildest motocross people in the US. It's like watching Nitro Circus and Jackass, and then having this kind of whole new generation, but in a little bit more proper way, if you know what I mean. It's still got that vibe, but it's done in such a cool and sustainable way. So I think storytelling is definitely part two of it.
And are there any specific social media platforms that have really performed well for you?
Yeah, so we're mainly on short format on Instagram, and then we do YouTube for the longer content. TikTok tends to kick us out because of the name of the sport, so we have to kind of rebuild it every time. So we've kind of paused that initiative. But I do think kind of at least that's our main model today, and then of course everything happening on streaming platforms.
So how does the league work with the, I was going to call them the creators, I guess they are creators and athletes, right, at the same time? How do you work together with them?
Yeah, so you have to decide a strategy. You have to decide what is doing what. So we decided very early that if you want to see the competition, you have to see that on a streaming platform or televised. If you want to get to know the people, you're going to have to follow them on social media. And if you want to see all the crazy stuff they're doing, social media. So you kind of bring a hype to the events. So you have these follow cams. People are flying in from all over the world to kind of compete. You see the behind the scene cameras. Everybody's doing their blog. You come to the competition and then you turn off, and then it's streaming and competition time. And then you're back on social media straight afterwards.
So
and
that's,
yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, please.
No, and that kind of, that makes all the athletes aggregators. So of course we shoot everything we do. We share everything we do with our athletes. So go ahead and make your edits. We don't need to kind of own that stuff. We want our media product to spread, because that will drive traffic to the broadcast. And that kind of sharing attitude also helps a lot building kind of reach within the sport.